Hello and welcome back to day 7 of our architecture project. Guys, this is it. This is the day. We're getting going. We're going to be gluing it together. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit nervous because first off, I'm excited. That's part of it. I'm nervous-sighted. That's what I should be saying. I'm nervous-sighted. I'm excited because this is a wonderful thing and we've been anticipating this, but also there's some safety concerns, so I want to make sure I'm touching on all of those first, because one of my goals as your art teacher is that you leave my class in the same condition you entered it, meaning I don't want you having any cuts or burns or eye patches. I don't want that for you. I want you to leave in good condition. So let's just talk about all these safety concerns first and foremost, okay? So here's what we need for today. Hot glue gun, hot glue sticks, craft sticks, things from home, scissors or wire cutters to cut any sticks that we may need to today. Of course, since we're going to be cutting our sticks, we're going to need our safety goggles or sunglasses or regular glasses or swim goggles, honestly, whatever you've got, any of these sort of things here, construction goggles, get them out. We just want beautiful eyes and we want to protect them, okay? So always wearing that safety stuff for your face. Maybe protect your table too. We are going to be using hot glue, and if you've ever used it before, you know that as the glue gets hot, it kind of drips out. So having something down like, baking paper, maybe parchment paper, tin foil, something like that, a big sheet of cardboard, a paper bag, just a big piece of paper, an old placemat, something so that, as we're building this, we're kind of protecting your work area as well. Okay? All right, let's go back and talk hot glue safety, because that's another thing to think about too. So, hot glue gun. So ours might look a little bit different. That's okay. In fact, my hot glue gun looks much different than yours. Oh, by the way, if you want to plug this in, it does take about 3 to 5 minutes to heat up. So feel free to plug it in. I have had students before who say, Miss Stinson, I plugged mine in. It's been 10 minutes. It's still not even kind of warm. It's broken. It's broken. Yours may have an on-off switch. So if yours is plugged in and you're realizing, yeah, it's not heating up, check for that. See if there's an on-off switch. That could solve your problems. We'll also need our hot glue sticks. These feed in through the back like that. Now, obviously, this one I can't feed right now because it's already got one in there, but that is where it feeds through. Anyway, let's see what else. When you're done working, or even if you're just like, oh, I'm just stepping away for I'm gonna go eat a snack, unplug it, okay? It gets really hot. That's the name, hot glue gun. So that metal tip is really, really hot. Don't touch it with your fingers. The glue that comes out of it, really, really hot. Don't touch it with your fingers, or at least, give it like a minute to cool before you do touch it with your fingers. And then another thing is, once again, I said unplug it. Don't just turn it off. Sure, 99% of the time, it's going to be fine if you just turn it off. But that 1% also gives me anxiety, and I don't want there to be anything bad happening in your home, okay? So unplug it, because who knows, that switch could go faulty. Maybe it falls over onto itself and it turns the switch on, and now it's on sitting on a piece of paper and it gets really hot. Bad things could happen, so let's prevent all those bad things by, using these safety precautions. Like I said, the hot glue gun does get hot and it does drip, so not a bad idea as well to have something like maybe a lid from sour cream or yogurt or butter or whatever you got, and just putting that underneath so it catches the drip that comes off of it. And then another thing, so like I said, we will feed the hot glue stick back here. When you're done, do not pull that out. That just stays in here. It'll cool off within itself for next time. And so next time you turn it on, it's going to warm up that stick. If you pull it out, it's already super hot inside this portion of it. And if you pull it out, it's going to drip onto your hand and burn you. So just leave that right in there. Okay, I know some of you are probably like, Miss Stinson, I've used a hot glue gun before. Not everyone has though. So, you know, it's just good to talk about all those safety things, just to make sure we're all on the same page and nothing bad's happening. Okay, safety's complete, or your training at least is complete. Now it's your turn to actually like do these things. So let's talk about assembling. So here I've got one of my walls here. Something to consider today I'm kind of looking at as, let's get all of those pieces nice and solid and together. For next class, if you can have your base ready, that cardboard or whatever you're intending to use for your base, we will start the assembling, like putting all the walls and the structure together next class. Okay? So for today, we just want to get all of this stuff together. I'm going to start, I think, with this one here that I've taped down. Remember, we do not need to do like tape between every single stick. We're only taping, or sorry, we're not gluing between every stick. We're only gluing that kind of main one. So first things first, I guess I just want to make sure everything is where it should be. Like that one you can probably see. Whoops, now I'll have to move those too. They were a little off though. They were up a little higher than I would have preferred. So you can always use your stick to kind of help make sure everything is at the same level, like that. Okay, now I want to be careful not to touch that. I'm going to get out my hot glue gun, and I'm going to glue it. Now make sure you get all the way to the edge, all the way to both edges. You just squeeze that trigger, that's going to release the glue. You've got about 20 seconds or so in which to get that hot glue into place. If you leave it there for too long, it's going to cool off and it's going to harden, and that's not good. Now you probably can see, maybe you can't, let me hold it up a little closer. Some of my glue, can you see that, came out the edge? I'm not going to worry about that because I can always pick that off once it's dry. So, you know, try not to over glue just so there's not a ton of that you're having to pick off. But also it is kind of fun to pick off, so that's okay too. Anyway, so I've got that section ready to go. Let's get the tape off of this. Make sure you always get all of the tape off before you start to glue anything. Okay, so this piece goes here. That little guy, we'll sneak it in there. Let's see, that's looking pretty good, right? Double check. Now I do see there's a bit of a bend here, which is causing all of those to go. If I can try to correct that as I'm gluing it together, like pressing it, I will try to, but I don't know, guaranteed if that's gonna work just because that is a pretty big gap. Anyway, I've got my hot glue ready to go. Once again, I'm making sure to get it all the way from one edge to the next. I've got myself a good 20 seconds or so to get that on here. Like I said, now that I've got this in place, I'm just going to try to push that in, and I'm going to try to hold it as much as I can in place to try to correct that bend of that stick as much as I can. And I did get it to correct a little bit. There's still a bit of a gap there, but it's not as bad as it was. I'm just going to hold this for a little bit because I really want to make sure that that stays. Okay, that's probably been long enough. I think there's a piece of my hair in there. That's fine. Can pick that out later. Alright, does that seem stable? Yes, it does. Once again, I've got a little bit of glue to trim off there. Or honestly, when we start painting these, we can just paint over that too. Alright, let's take all the tape off of this side as well. Just verify that everything is nice and sturdy. Some random tape right there. But yeah, that seems pretty good. You know, if you have any sections that seem like they need a little more support, go ahead and give it to them. Like for example, I'm noticing that this is a little wiggly here, and honestly could use some curb appeal. So, safety goggles on. Maybe I make some cute little shutters or window trimming for it. In fact, maybe I'll even go, no, I want it like this. I'm just going to cut it right there. So this is the outside of my home. Those are my bad scissors. Get some good ones up. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So anywhere you add like little supports like this is going to help that structure remain strong, and once again adds a little bit of curb appeal, which is always good too. Maybe I want to add some shutters here. I can play around with that a little bit more, but basically I just want to make sure that I'm getting my structure so it's nice and solid like that. See, it's not going anywhere. I guess I don't want to mess with it too much, but it's pretty solid on there. Okay, let me show you one more just to make sure we're all on the same page. I'm going to start with the back of this structure here. Peel my tape off first. There we go. Now, of course, if you did the paper version of this, I guess we should touch on that. If you did the paper version, let me get that little guy off. It's causing it to be uneven for right now. You're going to have to still do this where you bring your sticks together. And if you want to go back and re-watch that from 2 class periods ago, you absolutely may. Like how to line up the sticks and all that. But you know, basically it was you line up your sticks. Let's get these guys in here. There's that fourth one. It's hiding under there. And you just kind of use that to make sure they're all even. Yep, there we go. And once again, use my hot glue gun. Make sure I get all the way to that edge, otherwise that last stick isn't going to hold too. And we'll give it a brace on the inside. Oop, that one kind of went. You do have a little bit of time to play with it once you put it on there. So you saw that, I don't know if you noticed that, but one of my sticks kind of shifted when I put it on there, and I just wiggled it back into place. Okay? I'm just going to show you guys something else too. If this ever happens to you, let's just say one of them doesn't stick. Just put a little glue. Oh, actually, ooh, perfect. I ran out of hot glue. Can you guys see that? Like, it's gone. So all I have to do is feed this into the back, okay? Sometimes you'll have to help hold it in place a little bit too as it gets into like the feed. But take that, stick that on in. So if that ever happens to you too, feel free to just add a little more glue, get that on in. Of course, now down here, my stick isn't going to go all the way across, is it? Because I've got my door there. So this is going to be kind of similar to the window on the other one. It's still a little wobbly right now, my glue stick. Okay. And these two, you can kind of see, we've got that gap in between. I'm just going to try to hold it while the glue hardens and try to correct that gap. I'm sure your sticks are going to be the same, right? Like, they're not perfect. They might have a little wave and wiggle to them. No big deal. Just try to help correct that as much as possible while I'm holding here. I'll get this one ready. Tape off of it. So yeah, essentially, I guess what I'm trying to say is for today, our goal is to get all 4 or more, like maybe your home has more sides to it. You've added in like extra coves and stuff like that. So get all the 4 or more sides of your home like put together. The roof, we're going to need that put together as well. If you want to start adding in any of those details like trim around a door or shutters or anything like that, that works too. Okay, and I'm not going to show you me doing the whole thing, but you can see so far I've got constructed 2 sides, the front and the back of the home. I'm going to need to get the sides as well, the roof as well, and then for next class we need our cardboard. We need to make sure we're assembling it all together, and remember, we are going to be painting, we are going to be adding some more stuff to it as well. We've got a few days for all of that fun. And then final reminder, this guy, when you're done, let's unplug that. Okay, I'm going to do that right now with mine. Record your time in your art journal, and I will see you next time.